All right, you degenerates, welcome back to the deep dive. And today we are going to be dissecting this whole FIFA 23 fiasco. We got this Wikipedia article here, and yeah, I know Wikipedia can be drier than a nun's cunt, but trust me, this shit's a wild ride. We're talking the death of a goddamn era.
Yeah.
FIFA's kicking the bucket, at least in name.
FIFA 23 was a pretty monumental year for the franchise.
Monumental.
And the future's kind of hazy, to be honest.
This was a fucking bloodbath.
Yeah.
It's the last game we're getting under the FIFA name. EA decided to say fuck you to FIFA, and now we got EA Sports FC. What the hell went down? It's like watching your parents get a messy divorce after 30 years of marriage.
Well, it all boils down to money. Shocker, right? FIFA wanted a fuck ton more cash for the licensing rights, and EA basically told them to go fuck themselves.
I know.
It's a huge deal because they've been partners for almost 30 years.
30 years, like they probably shared a toothbrush at some point. This is going to have some serious repercussions, right? What does this mean for the game itself? Like, are we going to see some crazy new features, or will it be the same shit, different name?
It's tough to say for sure. But yeah, this could be a game changer. Literally, maybe EA will finally have the freedom to experiment with new features and gameplay now that they're not chained to FIFA. Maybe we'll get some crazy shit we've never seen before. Or, it could go completely tits up. Maybe the quality will tank, or some other greedy asshat company will swoop in and try to create a FIFA rival.
God, don't even put that evil out into the universe. I could already picture some soulless corporation churning out a FIFA clone that's basically just a microtransaction-filled hellscape. Speaking of new shit, this Wikipedia article keeps mentioning Hypermotion 2. What the fuck is that? Sounds like some kind of futuristic sex toy.
It's actually some pretty impressive tech. If you're a nerd about that kind of thing, it's basically motion capture on steroids with a healthy dose of AI. EA used machine learning to analyze thousands of real-life matches, like actual pros playing their hearts out, and created over 6,000 new animations based on that data.
So they're basically making robots play football now. That's kind of fucked up, but also pretty cool. I guess that makes my FIFA skills look even more pathetic.
Yeah, well, the idea is to make the player movements hyper-realistic. Like you're actually on the pitch dodging tackles and scoring screamers.
Sounds like a little marketing bullshit to me. But let's say I buy into this whole realism thing. Did it actually make the gameplay any different? Or is it just a fancy way to make us think they've actually innovated?
It definitely had an impact. Players move more fluidly, more naturally. Dribbling feels more responsive, tackles are more intense, and the overall gameplay is smoother. Whether that translates to a better gaming experience is subjective, but yeah, it's definitely a step forward in terms of realism.
Okay, I'll give them that. But you know what would really make the gameplay better? Fucking crossplay. And guess what? FIFA 23 finally delivered.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
They finally caved and introduced crossplay for some game modes, but there are some limitations. You can only play with people on the same console generation, so PS4 can play with Xbox One, but not with PS5. It's kind of a half-assed solution. Wait, are you serious? What's the fucking point then? Why even bother? And don't even get me started on the fact that Pro Clubs still doesn't have crossplay. Seriously, EA, what the hell's wrong with you? Pro Clubs is the best goddamn mode in the game.
Yeah, the Pro Clubs community was pissed off, and rightfully so. No one knows for sure why they left it out. Maybe technical limitations, or maybe they're saving it for some bullshit future update to make more money. You know how these companies operate.
Classic EA, always looking for a way to fuck over their loyal fans. All right, let's move on to something a bit more positive. World Cup FIFA 23 was a pretty big deal for football fanatics because it included both the men's and women's World Cup modes. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, finally recognizing that women play football too.
Absolutely. Especially the inclusion of the Women's World Cup. It's a big step forward for representation in sports games and shows that women's football is finally getting the recognition it deserves.
Hell yeah. And they actually put in some effort. They've got the specific stadiums, all the qualified teams, the whole shebang. Pretty immersive stuff. But there's a catch, isn't there? Because there's always a fucking catch with EA.
Yeah, there's a bit of a bummer. This is probably the last time we'll see a World Cup mode in a FIFA game. EA lost the FIFA license, remember, so future EA Sports FC games won't have the rights to use the World Cup branding.
Ah, for fuck's sake. That's classic EA taking one step forward and two steps back. All right, so what else was new in this final FIFA game? Give me the lowdown.
Well, they added some new icons and heroes to the game, like legends you can play as. This year we got Gerd Müller, Xabi Alonso, and Jairzinho.
Okay, those are some solid additions.
Yeah.
But who the hell did they remove? They always got to take away something we love, right?
Yeah, sadly they removed some big names. Maradona, Ryan Giggs, Pep Guardiola, Deco, Mark Overmars, and Filippo Inzaghi are all gone. And for some reason they demoted JJ Okocha and Hitoshi Nakata from icons to heroes.
Seriously, EA, what the actual fuck? They add some decent players and then rip away some of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
It's like they're deliberately trying to piss off their fans.
It all comes down to licensing rights, unfortunately. They have to negotiate with individual players and their estates to include them in the game. It's a messy business, and sometimes deals fall through.
Yeah, well, it's a messy business that leaves us, the players, feeling screwed over.
Yeah.
It's like, why even get excited about new icons when, EA will probably just yank them away in the next game? All right, let's move on before I break something. What about women's club football? Did they finally add that, or are they still stuck in the dark ages?
They finally added it. FIFA 23 is the first in the series to feature women's club football. They've included the English FA Women's Super League and the French Division 1 Feminine. It's a big moment for the game and for women's sports in general. They even put Sam Kerr, who plays for Chelsea Women, on the global cover. That's a first for a woman on a FIFA cover.
Finally, some good fucking news. It's about damn time they included women's club football. I mean, it's 2024 for crying out loud. It's not exactly revolutionary.
It's a step in the right direction, for sure. It shows that women's sports are gaining more mainstream recognition and support.
Let's hope that trend continues. Okay, I gotta ask about the licensing shitstorm. What other teams and leagues got fucked over this year? I'm sure there were some casualties.
Oh, yeah, there were some big omissions. Serie A, the J1 League, and most of the Latin American leagues are gone. All thanks to those wonderful licensing deals and exclusivity agreements we talked about earlier.
So basically, it's a giant clusterfuck of corporate greed. Surprise, surprise.
Hey!
But wait, it gets even more ridiculous. I read they included the fictional AFC Richmond team from Ted Lasso, but couldn't be bothered to keep some real-world teams. That's some next-level bullshit.
Yeah, it's pretty ironic. I guess Ted Lasso's charm was too powerful for EA to resist. But hey, at least we got some new stadiums, like the Philips Stadium, the Europa Park Stadium, and Juventus Stadium made a comeback.
Oh, well, thank God for small favors. I guess we should be grateful they didn't just replace all the players with generic avatars.
Give them time. They might still do that.
All right. I think we've covered enough ground for now. Let's move on to the soundtrack and the game's critical reception in part 2. Stay tuned, folks.
All right, let's talk about the soundtrack. FIFA soundtracks are legendary.
Yeah.
Right? They've always been pretty solid, but I gotta admit, I'm a bit old school. Give me some Blur or Avicii any day.
Yeah, FIFA soundtracks are always a highlight. They can make or break the whole vibe of the game, but I feel you on that old school tip. There's nothing like hearing Song 2 while you're smashing goals. So what did FIFA 23 do for their farewell tour? Did they pull out all the stops?
They actually went all out for this one. They didn't just have a new soundtrack. They brought back a bunch of classic tracks from previous FIFA games, like 40 of the most popular songs from over the years.
Holy shit, seriously. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They must have known they had to deliver something special for their last hurrah. So what kind of musical gems did they resurrect from the graveyard of FIFA soundtracks?
Think Song 2 by Blur from FIFA 98, The Nights by Avicii from FIFA 15. You know, the songs that make you want to score a goddamn bicycle kick in the final minute. They even threw in some crowd pleasers like Heat Waves by Glass Animals and Obsessed With You by Central C.
Damn, that's a pretty solid mix. They definitely know how to appeal to the nostalgia factor. But what about the Volta soundtrack? Did they stick with that weird underground vibe?
Yeah, they kept the Volta soundtrack separate, and it still got that edgy street feel. They had artists like Array, Central C, Nas even, Disclosure.
Disclosure. That's a bit of a curveball, not exactly your typical FIFA artist.
It was an interesting choice for sure, but I think it worked. It added a different flavor to the Volta mode. Kind of a nice surprise.
All right, let's cut the crap and talk about the most important thing.
Yeah.
How did FIFA 23 actually play? Did it live up to the hype, or was it a total letdown?
Well, according to the critics, it was a mixed bag. Most reviewers gave it decent scores. They praised the graphics, the new Hypermotion 2 tech, and the inclusion of women's club football. They said the gameplay felt smoother and more responsive, and the visuals were a noticeable step up from previous titles.
But there's always a but, isn't there?
But they also criticized some of the same old shit. The pay-to-win aspects of Ultimate Team, the lack of innovation in some modes, the occasional wonky gameplay, you know, typical FIFA bullshit.
It's the same shit, different year.
Pretty much, but with shinier graphics and a few new bells and whistles.
I guess some things never change. But wait, I read somewhere that the Nintendo Switch version got absolutely roasted.
Yeah, the Switch version got slammed. Apparently, it was basically just a copy-paste of FIFA 22 with a few minor tweaks. The reviewers called it lazy and uninspired, like EA just didn't give a shit about Switch players.
Typical EA, they treat Switch players like second-class citizens.
Yeah.
It's like they figure they can get away with it because the FIFA games still sell like hotcakes, no matter what platform they're on.
It's frustrating for sure. But yeah, you're probably right. They know they can phone it in for the Switch version and people will still buy it.
All right, let's wrap up this section. So FIFA 23, the end of an era, a bittersweet symphony of innovation and frustration. What did this whole experience teach us?
I think it showed us that change is inevitable, even in the world of video games. The FIFA series is dead, long live EA Sports FC.
Or maybe it'll just be another cash grab. Time will tell. Now, for the real question that's been bugging me, what the hell does this whole FIFA split mean for the future of football games?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Now that EA has broken free from FIFA, what's next? Will EA Sports FC be a glorious revolution or just the same shit with a different name?
Ooh, deep. I like it. Maybe we should start a philosophy podcast.
And what about the competition? Could this be the opening some other company needs to create a serious rival to FIFA? Maybe one that doesn't suck ass?
Dude, you're blowing my mind right now. Too many questions, not enough answers. It's like staring into the abyss of the future of football gaming.
Well, it's not all doom and gloom. There are some things we can look out for to see which way the wind is blowing.
All right, lay it on me. What should our listeners be paying attention to in the coming months? What's going to be the big tell on whether EA is flying high or crashing and burning?
I'd say keep an eye on a few things first. What new features and innovations does EA Sports FC bring to the table? Are they just rehashing old ideas, or are they actually trying to push the boundaries of what a football game can be?
Good point. They've got to give us something juicy to justify this whole name change. Otherwise, it's just a giant middle finger to the fans.
Second, what happens with the licensing? Will they be able to secure deals with all the major leagues and teams, or will we see even more omissions and generic replacements?
Man, I hope they don't fuck that up. It's bad enough already.
And finally, keep an eye on the competition. Does any other company step up and try to challenge EA's dominance in the football gaming world?
Yeah, it'd be amazing. A little healthy competition never hurt anyone. Maybe it would light a fire under EA's ass and force them to actually make a decent game for once.
We can dream, can't we?
All right, my friend, that was a hell of a deep dive. We covered everything from licensing shenanigans to the philosophical implications of a name change. I'm exhausted.
D2, but it was fun.
Damn right. It was.
Yeah.
So to all you lovely listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this wild ride. Go check out FIFA 23, or should I say EA Sports FC's predecessor, and decide for yourselves if it was worth the hype.
And let us know what you think about the future of football gaming. Are you excited for EA Sports FC, or do you think it's all downhill from here?
Hit us up on social media. Leave a comment, send a carrier pigeon, whatever we want to hear from you. Until next time, peace out.
You know, while we're on the topic of competition, let's talk about licensing.
Yeah.
It's been a thorn in FIFA's side for years with all these exclusive deals and teams missing.
Yeah, the licensing shit is a goddamn mess. It's like trying to navigate a minefield of legal bullshit.
Exactly. And now that EA is going solo, it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. Will they try to secure more licenses to make EA Sports FC the definitive football experience?
Or will they say, fuck it, and focus on creating their own leagues and teams like a whole new football universe? That would be kind of wild, actually.
Imagine a FIFA game where you can create your own custom leagues, tournaments, and players. No more licensing headaches, just pure creative freedom.
That would be a game changer. EA could really shake things up and give players something they've never seen before.
It would also open up some cool possibilities for esports.
Yeah.
Imagine a global tournament where everyone's competing with their own custom teams and players.
Dude, that would be insane.
Yeah.
The esports scene would explode. It would be like the Wild West of football gaming.
Exactly. It's a risky move, but it could pay off big time. EA could become the undisputed king of football gaming, not just because they have the FIFA license, but because they're offering something truly unique.
All right, enough of the hypotheticals. Let's get back to reality. FIFA 23.
Yeah.
Despite all its flaws, was still a pretty damn good game. It had its moments of brilliance.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't perfect, but it was a solid send-off for the FIFA series as we know it.
So what's the final verdict? Was
Okay.
FIFA 23 worth the hype?
I'd say it was a worthy entry in the franchise, even if it was more of an evolution than a revolution. It had some great new features like Hypermotion 2 and the inclusion of women's club football, but it also suffered from the same old issues that have plagued the series for years.
Fair enough. It sounds like a game that's worth checking out, especially if you're a diehard FIFA fan.
Absolutely, and who knows, maybe this whole EA Sports FC thing will turn out to be a blessing in disguise. Maybe it'll be the kick in the ass EA needs to finally innovate and give us the football game we deserve.
Well said, my friend. Well said. All right, folks, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the chaotic world of FIFA 23. We laughed, we cried, we swore a lot, we We dissected the good, the bad, and the ugly. We explored the future of football gaming and pondered the existential dread of a world without FIFA. But most importantly, we had a goddamn good time doing it.
And hopefully you did too.
So go out there, play some football, real or virtual, and let us know what you think about the future of this beautiful, messed up sport.
Well,
Peace and pics.